system. Shall we begin the session now? Do you think, ma'am, shall we begin the session now? Not audible. And unmute. Yes. Can you speak now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Very good evening, one and all present here. I'm really happy to invite you for our 406 webinar session on the art of parenting and well-being. And you had a few inputs on the topic on art of parenting and well-being in different persons. And we are going to have a holistic presentation by Ms. Preeti Pandian. She is an assistant professor of Department of Social Science, where she is teaching for PG students of psychology at the Lady Toe College, Madurai, the renowned institution in Madurai. And this is about academic components. And I can say that when I was approached, Preeti ma'am, can you please take a session? She said she is the first person in her institution that consented for my request, and we are very grateful for that. And thank you so much for accepting, ma'am. And behalf of the Department of Psychology, American College, Madurai, and my own behalf, and on behalf of my core team members and associating institutions like Madras School of Social Work, Madurai, M.H. Chellamuthi Institute of Mental Health and Rehabilitation, Madurai, and Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey, and Yellowbourne Counseling Center. I welcome today's resource person, as well as all the participants who came here for listening that input from the resource person. I welcome wholeheartedly for this webinar session. Ma'am, over to you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. It's really a great privilege for me to be here in this webinar today. It's a series of webinar, I know, and it's really a huge privilege for me to do this 406th webinar. So good evening to one and all present in this webinar. When sir was asking me, like I was asking him, sir, what topic should I take? And he was like very generous in telling me that whatever you want, you can speak. So I chose my favorite area in psychology, which is parenting. Though I'm not a parent, I know how it's also easy, it's also difficult. But still, I don't know, like, I have a huge interest in the area of, in the field of parenting. I did my post-graduation research in parenting. So I thought it will be nice if I talk about parenting because I'm so much interested in that field. And it would be nice to hear from you all because I know it's a mixed crowd, not only students, I know it's a mixed crowd. So it will be nice for me to actually interact with you all. So I really wanted to have an interactive session with you all. Let me begin with my PPT. I'll try sharing my PPT. Is my screen visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Okay, thank you, sir. So parenting is truly an art. So how many parents are here? Like approximately, can I know? Many, I hope. Okay. Yeah. So the art of parenting. So art, if you are in a school or if you are studying, if you are a student, you might think, okay, I'm not good at art. I don't know how to draw things. I'm not good at handcrafts or something. So I need to learn. So if you learn something, it's anything which is a skill can be acquired through learning. We all know that. So in the same way, parenting is also a skill, I would say, and when you learn it, you can actually become a master in it. Okay, சீக்கிரமா master ஆக முடியாது, but still you can try doing that. So let me begin with the summary of today's session. ஸோ பேரண்டிங் அப்படின்னா ஓகே எல்லாருமே பேரண்ட்ஸ் ஆயிடலாம் எனிவே ஒன் டே அட் ஒன் பாயிண்ட் ஆஃப் டைம் இன் லைஃப் யூ வில் பிகம் அ பேரண்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்லிடலாம். ஸோ இட்ஸ் ஆக்சுவலி ரியர்லி டிஃபிகல்ட். ரெண்டு விதமான சில்ட்ரன் இருக்காங்க. ஒன் இஸ் ஈஸி டு ஹேண்டில் சைல்ட், தி அதர் ஒன் இஸ் நாட்டி சைல்ட். பேரண்டிங்னா அவ்வளோ ஈஸிலாம் கிடையாது. ஒரு நாட்டி சைல்டை வச்சுக்கிறது எவ்வளோ கஷ்டம் தெரியுமா? எஸ், இட்ஸ் ரியர்லி டிஃபிகல்ட், ஐ நோ தட். அதே மாதிரி ஒரு ஈஸி சைல்டு அப்படின்னா அப்பா ஐ எம் தி ஹாப்பியஸ்ட் பேரண்ட் இன் த வேர்ல்ட் அப்படின்னு சொல்ல முடியாது. ஸோ இஃப் யூ ஹவ் காட் அன் ஈஸி சைல்ட், யோர் responsibilities are different. When you have a naughty child, again your responsibilities are different. So this doesn't make any difference, like you don't have to do anything, you can go away with your life. Whichever kind of children you have your own responsibility. So parenting will definitely have so many responsibilities involved. So these two categories I wanted to touch upon today. So whenever I'm teaching parenting to my students, I always use this analogy in teaching them, which is like sowing seeds. ஒரு செடி நம்ம வளர்க்குறோம் அப்படின்னா ஃபர்ஸ்ட் வந்து அந்த நிலத்தை பண்படுத்துவாங்க, அண்ட் தென் யூ த்ரோ த சீட்ஸ். மாதிரி நிறைய ப்ராசஸ் இருக்கு. ஸோ இந்த சீட் போடுறது தான் பேரண்டிங் அப்படின்னு ஐ பிலீவ். ஓகே, ஸோ ஒரு பேரண்ட் ரோல் அப்படின்றது இட்ஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி லைக் மதர் வில் டேக் அப் த ரோல், ஃபாதர் வில் டேக் அப் த ரோல். ஸோ நம்ம இந்தியன் கல்ச்சர் எடுத்துக்கிட்டோம், இந்தியன் சொசைட்டி எடுத்துட்டோம்னா ஓகே மோஸ்ட்லி மதர்ஸ் ஆர் ஹோம் மேக்கர்ஸ், ஃபாதர் இஸ் அ பிரெட் வினர் ஆஃப் த ஃபேமிலி. சம்டைம்ஸ் ஃபாதர் அண்ட் மதர் போத் ஆர் பிரெட் வினர்ஸ் ஆஃப் த ஃபேமிலி. இந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும்போது எப்படி வந்து அந்த குழந்தைய வளர்க்க போறாங்க, அந்த விதையை வந்து எப்படி போட போறாங்க. ஸோ தட் இஸ் தி ஆர்ட் ஆஃப் பேரண்டிங். ஓகே, ஸோ டுடே இன் திஸ் செஷன் ஐ வில் ஜஸ்ட் டேக் யூ த்ரூ தி ஆர்ட் ஆஃப் பேரண்டிங் இன் யூசிங் திஸ் அனாலஜி. ஓகே, ஸோ இமேஜின் யூ sowing a seed. Okay, so when you are sowing a seed, you might have many dreams. ஆஹா இந்த சீட் வளர்ந்தா, இஃப் இட் இஸ் எனி கலர்ஃபுல் பிளான்ட், வில் பி லைக் எப்படா அந்த கலர்ஃபுல் ஃபிளவர்ஸ் எல்லாம் வரும், என்ன கலர் வரும், என் செடியில என்ன கலர் வரும். ஓகே, வில் மை பிளான்ட் ஈவன் க்ரோ, இல்ல எல்லாருக்கும் வளர்ந்துரும், என்னோட பிளான்ட் மட்டும் செத்து போயிருமா, இல்ல என்னோட பிளான்ட் வந்து ஃபார் எக்ஸாம்பிள் இஃப் யூ டேக் திஸ் certain fruit bearing trees, no, like papaya and all, in certain papaya trees you won't get fruit at all. ஐயோ இவ்வளோ வளர்த்துட்டு ஒரு ஃப்ரூட் கூட வரலையே, அந்த மாதிரி இருக்கும். ஸோ ஒரு விதையை போடுறதுக்கு முன்னாடி பிஃபோர் sowing a seed you will have lot of dreams. So the outcome depends on the land you sow and the kind of seed you sow and also the environmental influences. The same way parenting is also made up of all these elements. Okay, this is just an introduction to explain my analogy. Okay, this is not the topic at all, I'm just jumping into the topic now. Okay, so there are different kinds of parenting. Parenting அப்படினாலே இந்த different kinds சொல்லாம சொன்னோம்னா அது ஒண்ணுமே புரிஞ்சுக்க முடியாது. So before telling its type, I would like to explain it again as a seed. Okay, so first we are having a yellow seed. Let's see the nature of the yellow seed. So the nature of the yellow seed என்னன்னு தெரிஞ்சிருச்சுன்னா ஓரளவுக்கு அவுட்கம் என்ன அப்படின்னு நம்மளால சொல்ல முடியும். Okay, so nature of the yellow seed. First, rigid rules and high expectations. நான் என்ன சொன்னேன் அதை நீ பண்ணிடணும். You should not ask me why should I do this, why shouldn't I do this. அப்படி எதுவுமே கிடையாது. அம்மா சொன்னா செஞ்சிடணும், அப்பா சொன்னா செஞ்சிடணும், no questions anymore, அந்த மாதிரி. Okay, so it's going to be rigid rules and high expectation. சே நான் இப்படி நினைச்சிருந்தேனே, இவ்வளவுதான் பண்ணியா, பார்த்தா அந்த சைல்டு வந்து 100க்கு 95 எடுத்திருப்பாங்க. அவனை சென்டம் அடிச்சிட நினைச்சேன், ஸ்டேட் ரேங்க் வந்துருவேன்னு நினைச்சேன், பட் ஆனா ஓகே பரவாயில்ல. So expectations are actually high here. Makes decision for the child. So parents will make the decision for their children. So children also need to be considered as an individual in the society. Maybe to certain extent parents can teach them what is good, what is wrong. Okay, but still after some time when they get to know what is right and what is wrong, they'll be capable of making their own decisions. Even if they're not capable of making their own decisions, they'll at least learn to do so. If they have any experience, definitely they will have a bad experience, but parents know, they will be like ஐயோ இந்த bad experience உனக்கு வேண்டாம் தான் நான் சொன்னேன் அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவாங்க. let them go through that bad experience so that they will learn. Okay, so here this yellow seed is a parent. Okay, this parent will make decision for their children. Okay, swift and severe punishment. Okay, So since the expectation is also high, the punishment is very swift and severe. Okay, so என்ன பண்ணணும் என்ன பண்ணக்கூடாது, இதை நீ பண்ணக்கூடாதுன்னு சொன்னா நீ பண்ணிட்ட, ஸோ உடனே உனக்கு ஒரு பனிஷ்மெண்ட், இதை நீ பண்ணதுக்கு இனிமே நீ இதை செய்யவே கூடாது அப்படின்னு சொல்லி வெரி சிவியர் பனிஷ்மெண்ட்ஸ் தே வில் கெட். they'll be also very swift, உடனே கிடைச்சிடும் punishment. Okay, and then okay, I'm not able to move. Okay, so these are the important characteristics of yellow seed parenting. Now let me take you through the outcome. Okay, the outcome is anxious and withdrawn. அப்போ இந்த சீடை போட்டா என்ன மாதிரி பிளான்ட் வரும்னா ரொம்ப ஆங்ஷியஸ் அண்ட் வித்ட்ரான். ஓகே, இந்த பார்க்கும்போது உங்களுக்கு தெரிஞ்ச யாராவது ஒரு பேரண்டிங் ஸ்டைல், ஐ மீன் பேரண்ட்ஸ் இந்த ஸ்டைல் யூஸ் பண்ணியிருக்காங்கன்னா யூ கேன் ஆக்சுவலி விஷுவலைஸ் தேர் ஃபேமிலி. ஓகே, விஷுவலைஸ் தேர் சில்ட்ரன் anxious and withdrawn, perform well in academics. That's one positive, no? Because you have high expectation. They may not know why they are studying, what they are studying, but still they will have good academic records. Toppers, state first, எல்லாம் வாங்கி வச்சிருப்பாங்க. Because they have high expectations. They have to face it. What if the child is not capable of doing that? They'll end up in committing suicide. பிகாஸ் என்ன இவ்வளோ எதிர்பார்க்கறாங்க, என்னால கொடுக்க முடியாது, why should I even live? அந்த மாதிரி யோசிக்கிறது இட்ஸ் ஒன் எக்ஸ்ட்ரீம். இல்ல அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ணுவாங்க, they will force themselves, they'll study without knowing what it is, rote learning, rote memory பண்ணி high scores எடுத்துருவாங்க. they'll perform well in academics. no anti social behavior. தங்கமான பையன், தங்கமான பிள்ளை, என் பிள்ளை எதுவுமே பண்ணாது, அப்போ ரொம்ப ஓகே அப்படியே நல்லா இருக்கும். பட் ஆனா when you get into and see if they follow this kind of parenting, you will be like, அப்பா இவ்வளோ கொடுமை அனுபவிச்சு நீ நல்ல பையனா இருக்கியா அப்படின்ற மாதிரி. பிகாஸ் they won't involve in anything. எந்த கெட்ட பழக்கம் இல்ல, ட்ரிங்க் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, ஸ்மோக் பண்ண மாட்டாங்க, எதுவுமே இல்லை, இட்ஸ் வெரி கோல்ட் அப்படின்னா. ஏன்னா அடியில வந்து யூ ஹாவ் திஸ் ப்ரெஷர், பேரண்டல் ப்ரெஷர். ஏன்னா நீங்க ஒரு வாட்டி ஆன்டி சோஷியல் பிஹேவியர் ஏதோ சின்னதா ஆரம்பிக்கும் போதே பார்த்துட்டாங்க வீட்டுல அப்படின்னா சீன் ஓவர். ஓகே, ஸோ அந்த மாதிரி ரொம்ப ஸ்ட்ரிக்டா இருக்கனால நோ ஆன்டி சோஷியல் பிஹேவியர். will be a follower. So when you have a leader, definitely there will be followers. ஸோ இந்த சீடை போடும்போது என் பிள்ளை வந்து ஒரு பெரிய கலெக்டர் ஆகணும், என் பிள்ளை வந்து ஒரு பெரிய ஒரு லீடர் ஆகணும், ஒரு லீடர்ஷிப் பிளேஸ்ல இருக்கணும் அப்படின்னு நினைச்சா யூ ஷுட் நாட் சோ திஸ் சீட். ஏன்னா இவ்வளோ ரிஜிடா பண்ணும்போது நம்ம ஃபர்ஸ்டே பார்த்தோம் ஆங்ஷியஸ் அண்ட் வித்ட்ரான். ஸோ அவ்வளோ ஆங்ஸைட்டி இருக்கும்போது நல்லா பண்ணணும், லீடர்ஷிப் எடுக்க மாட்டாங்க, எடுத்து சொதப்பிட்டோம்னா அவ்வளவுதான், நம்ம பின்னாடியே இருப்போம். லைக் இன் திஸ் மூவினோ அப்பான்ற ஒரு தமிழ் மூவில கூட அந்த ஷார்ட்டா இருக்கிற பையன் வீட்டுல என்ன சொல்லுவாங்க, இருக்கிற தெரியாம இருந்துடணும், உன் வேலையை கரெக்டா பாரு, அது அப்படியே சொல்லிட்டே இருப்பாங்க. he will never grow at all. maybe it's for the movie sake, but reality is also the same. They'll be good followers, but they cannot be good leaders at all, because they will have this anxiety, prolonged anxiety, chronic anxiety within them, so that which will prevent them from initiating something, to try out something new. எதுவுமே பண்ண முடியாது, செஞ்சா தப்பாயிருமோ, தப்பானா திட்டிடுவாங்களோ, அசிங்கமாயிருமோ, நம்ம அப்பா அம்மாவுக்கு கெட்ட பேர் வந்துருமோ. ஸோ எவ்ரி திங் their life is fully focused on their parents. So they will be a follower. Rarely they will be leaders. When they try to break all these things and come out as an adult, they can be leaders. ஏன்னா அவங்களுக்குள்ள அந்த கேப்பபிலிட்டி இருக்கும். மேபி பேரண்ட்ஸோட கண்ட்ரோல்ல இருந்து கொஞ்சம் கொஞ்சமா வர வர மேபி they will evolve into leaders. Otherwise they'll be followers. Okay, yeah. Do not know right and wrong. I don't know whether it's right or wrong. Just because my parents are telling, I'll do it. So இந்த மாதிரி சீட் போடும்போது அந்த அவுட்கம் எப்படி இருக்கும், ஒண்ணுமே தெரியாம வளர்ந்துருப்பாங்க. ஸோ wherever you go, whatever they do, ஒரு வாட்டி நான் கேட்டுக்கலாம். ஈவன் டு செலக்ட் மெனு கார்டில், ரெஸ்டாரண்ட்ல மெனு கார்டில் ஏதாவது ஃபுட்டுனா, இந்த ஃபுட்டா ஒரு வாட்டி நான் அம்மா கிட்ட கேட்டுக்கிறேன், ஒரு வாட்டி நான் அப்பா கிட்ட கேட்டுக்கிறேன், லெட் மீ ஆஸ்க், பிகாஸ் ஐ டோன்ட் நோ வெதர் இட்ஸ் ரைட் ஆர் ராங் ஃபார் மீ. என்னால பண்ண முடியுமா? இது சின்ன வயசுல மட்டும் கிடையாது, நான் சொல்றது ஈவன் ஆஃப்டர் க்ரோயிங் அப், ஈவன் ஆஃப்டர் கம்மிங் டு திஸ் அடலசன்ட் பீரியட், அவங்களுக்கு வந்து ஒரு நர்வஸ்னஸ், ஆங்ஸைட்டி இருக்கும். நான் செய்யறது கரெக்டா, ஷுட் ஐ டிசைட் ஆன் திஸ், ஷுட் ஐ கோ ஃபார் இட், லெட் மீ ஆஸ்க் மை பேரண்ட்ஸ், அந்த மாதிரி ஒரு பயத்தோட இருக்கிறனால they might not know what is right, what is wrong. Okay, they will have this kind of confusion. லோ செல்ஃப் எஸ்டீம். ஸோ ஒரு வேளை இந்த மாதிரி ஏதோ ஒரு விஷயத்துல சொதப்பிட்டாங்கன்னா பயங்கரமா என்னது ஸ்விஃப்ட் அண்ட் சிவியர் பனிஷ்மெண்ட். ஸோ பனிஷ்மெண்ட் அப்படின்னா இட்ஸ் நாட் ஒன்லி பிசிக்கல், இட் குட் ஆல்சோ பி வேர்பல். பயங்கரமா திட்டுறது, அப்யூஸ் பண்றது, நீ எதுக்கு இருக்க, யூஆர் அ லூசர், வை டிட் யூ ஈவன் பார்ன் இன் திஸ் வேர்ல்ட், அந்த மாதிரி திட்டுற ஃபேமிலிஸும் இருக்காங்க. பிகாஸ் நம்ம குடும்பத்துல எல்லாருமே டாக்டர்ஸ், உனக்கு மட்டும் ஒரு அரியர் இல்லாம ஒரு பேப்பர் கிளியர் பண்ண முடியல, எல்லாரும் டாக்டர்ஸ், எல்லாரும் இன்ஜினியர்ஸ், உன்னாலும் ஒண்ணுமே ஆக முடியல, இப்படி சொல்ல 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 that child will have low self esteem. ஸோ ரொம்ப எதுலையுமே முன்னாடி வர மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ டெஃபினெட்லி லோ செல்ஃப் எஸ்டீம் இருக்கும்போது டெஃபினெட்லி they'll be a follower, not a leader. Okay, so all these are some of the outcomes of yellow seed. Okay, so yellow seed is nothing but am I audible? Is my voice breaking?
You're audible, ma'am. You can continue, but there is a request from the audience that you can speak in English.
Okay. Yeah, okay. I thought it's a mixed crowd, so I wanted to go with bilingual language. Okay, fine. So when you sow this kind of seed, this is called authoritarian parenting style. Okay, it's authoritarian parenting style. So this yellow seed is the first style, and the next one is red seed. Okay, so in the red seed, the traits of red seed are the relationship is more like friends, not like a parent child. It's like yeah, she is my friend, my dad is my friend, my mom is my friend. It's good thing, yes. You have a very lenient relationship with your parents, few limits and boundaries. You don't have to fear for them, you don't have to like I'm so scared of my mother, see, I have to go, I have to do this, or else they'll yell at me, they'll scold me. No, you don't have that kind of strict boundaries. You have few limits and boundaries because you behave like friends. You know how friends would be, no? So you will have little boundaries, not much of strict rules. So it's more like a easy relationship, responsive to the child's needs. So one nature of a friend is like they will respond to your need immediately. So when you have something, when you go through something, friend will be the one who is coming at first. Especially when you are in an adolescent period, sometimes the kid will not feel okay to talk to their parents, so they'll actually share it with their friends, and friends will be the one who is actually coming first. So what if the parents are the best friends? So they'll be very responsive, immediately react to their child's need and attend to them. So when you have such kind of seed, the outcome is poor emotional regulation, because they might not have any boundaries. See, in this place, this is not it's not an appropriate behavior, you cannot do this here. The parent cannot say it because the parent has established a friendly relationship with the child. So the parent cannot actually demand that behavior in that particular situation. It's not like actually demanding, it's a kind of expectation. See, in this place you cannot behave like this, in this shop you cannot ask for this thing. The parent will not be able to say that. Therefore, what will they do? They will actually go for immediate gratification. Immediate gratification is, if I need something, I need it immediately. Hey, this is so nice, no? Let me buy it, okay? Whether I need it or not, this is so beautiful. Just because it's beautiful, see, mommy, can you get it for me? Because I like it. I don't need it, I don't want it, but I like it. I just want to have it. At least for this one evening, I want it. Let me buy it. So so they will not have the patience to wait for something. Okay, so poor emotional regulation. When they don't get something like that, they'll be agitated, they'll not know what to do, they'll be emotionally driven, impulsive. So all these things will be expressed, especially when a kid is put in a hostel for the first time, because the parents at home, they'll be providing everything responsive to the child's need very immediately, and the child will not go through any trauma, or at least anything like any kind of patience to wait for something. So when they go to hostel, they may not get anything like that. They have to wait at least for one evening, at least for one day. So it creates poor emotional regulation. So this poor emotional regulation, if students are listening here, you can actually cross check this with your hostel mates. They'll have difficulty if they are brought up by in this parenting style. They'll be rebellious because I want it now. I cannot live without this. Please let me do something. They'll ask their parents. They'll demand it from their parents because demanding is easy because the parents are your best friends. Okay, நம்ம முன்னாடி பார்த்த மாதிரி authoritarian demanding you can't do. You can't even speak. Whatever your parents say, you have to do. Here, since it's a very friendly relationship, demanding is easy. See, please get me this. I want this. See, one day if you get me this, I'll do this. Get me this nice bag, I will score good marks. So scoring good marks will not be evaluated by the parents. See, you didn't score, no, they won't evaluate. You'll get good mark, no, okay, have it. Okay, so when they don't have a parent with them, they will maintain the same kind of relationship with the others too. So therefore, they'll be very rebellious, impulsive and aggressive. Okay, they'll be very impulsive and they'll be very aggressive. They don't get what they want. Low self-control. So I hope you'll understand low self-control after explaining all these things. Is there anything? Okay. Antisocial behavior. In the previous style, antisocial behavior will not be there because you have very rigid boundaries, very rigid rules. So therefore, no space for antisocial behavior. Even a small antisocial behavior, the child can't indulge in. But here, there is a way for antisocial behavior. They can get into that because the parent will be like, chill, no, it's a small deed you're doing. It's a child, yeah, you can't blame the child. Let them do, let them play. But the child will actually get into that behavior in the childhood and follow it in their adolescence, and they develop it in a strong way when they are an adult. So the parent will be like, when the kid is doing the same thing in the later adolescent period, the parent will be like, oh, I'm so sad because the child is not able to get out of the behavior. But the parent will not actually realize, okay, this is how this behavior was actually initiated in the childhood and I was the one who supported it. The parent may not realize it sometimes. So, okay, so this kind of parenting style, this is called permissive kind of parenting style. Okay, being very permissive, being very lenient. So when the parent is very lenient, the child will be a child will have a poor emotional regulation, will be rebellious, impulsive and aggressive, will have low self-control and antisocial behavior. Okay, the next type of seed, I mean the next color we'll talk about is violet color seed. Okay, the violet color seed. The violet color seed, this kind of parent, they will not interact much with the child. Okay, the parent-child interaction will be very low. No limits and boundaries. No limits, no boundaries, because I'm not even caring about you, not even talking to you. Fails to respond to the child's need. Only we'll say, no, at least sit and talk with him for some time so that you will know what is his ambition in life. They will not have time to sit and talk with the child. There is no quality time in the family. Therefore, they will not know what the child needs. Okay, so they will not address to the child's need. That could be an immediate biological need, or it could be anything immediate, immediate emotional support. But the parent will not be able to provide because they don't spend time exploring and identifying the need of the child. Okay, so I hope you would have understood what is this style. It's neglectful parenting. Okay, so neglectful is sometimes when both the parents are working parents, they might not actually spend time with the child, especially if it is a single child at home. It's really difficult. At least if the child is having a sibling, it's fine, or else it's really difficult to manage because the parents will be like, okay, my child is at school. Recently there was this Nia Nana program in Vijay TV. They were like doing role exchange. Okay, the child was playing the role of the parent and the parent was playing the role of the child. Few parents, they didn't even know what section the kid was in. Few, they didn't even know which standard the child was studying. Okay, so all these you can see in this neglectful parenting style. So what will be the outcome? The outcome is depressed mood because I don't have anyone to play with me. I have lot of toys. I'm rich enough. All my needs, like they might not be the child's need, but according to the parents, I provided everything you want. Whatever you want is at home. But the child will not get the emotional support. Therefore, the child may feel depressed at times. They will have failed relationship. So with regard to this failed relationship, I would like to tell you something. The initial relationship, the basic trust the child develops in its childhood, especially with the mother or the primary caretaker. Sometimes the mother may not be the primary caretaker. So mother or the primary caretaker, the child develops the basic trust. If that basic trust is not developed, then the child will actually fail in developing healthy relationship when it grows into a adolescent or an adult. Okay, so the relationship the child is actually developing with the parent in the childhood will have an impact on their adolescent relationship. So therefore, when the parent is actually not spending time with the child, they might be engaged in their work, or they might be engaged in their personal commitments, or the parent, father and mother could be fighting all the time that they don't have time to listen to their children, then the child may get into all kinds of unhealthy relationship, failed relationship, or it could be a good relationship, but this child may not have trust with that person. So that person, the child will be like, I don't know, my mother itself, she was very close with me, she provided me everything, but still she didn't address my emotional need. This friend may also be like that. This friend may leave me if he or she is getting a better person in life. So all these kinds of distrust will lead to failed relationship. Cannot form close bonds, isolate themselves from society, do not express their emotion because they don't have anyone to talk at home. So they don't want to express their emotions, or they will not be feeling comfortable in expressing their emotion because nobody is going to listen to me. Imagine, see, this webinar system, no, I actually feel like speaking to a wall. I used to tell my students, please turn on your videos or else I feel like I'm speaking to a wall. So I may not know what emotion actually you're reciprocating. So only if I know that, I can enhance my teaching or enhance what I'm talking about. The same way, the child will feel isolated and feel like ignored or rejected, okay, because nobody is there to listen to me. I feel like I'm talking to a wall. My father, okay, then he'll say, see, your parents are working, no, I'll be with you. Maybe your aunt or uncle, they'll be telling, I'll be with you, I'll take care of you. But still, the child will miss the parent. Sometimes in our Indian society, we have this joint family system. In that joint family system, even with this case, neglected parenting, the grandparents will provide all the support. You could have, you can actually go back to your school days where for parent teachers meeting and all, only grandparents will come for the kid. Even in our colleges, we have so many students whose grandparents come for parent teachers meeting. So even though they go through this neglectful parenting, it may not be completely neglectful, but the family situation might demand that from the parent. They have to go for work, they have to go out, they have to be outside at least till 8 p.m. in the night. That's okay. But is there someone substituting that? That is very important. Okay. If someone is substituting that, then you might not have all this consequence. You might have positive consequence. Okay. Yes, they do not express emotion, low self-esteem and low self-confidence, always dependent on others. They'll be very scared to do things. Because they are isolated, they don't even try something new. They don't even actually do any trial and error learning because they are scared and anxious to do anything because they don't have any emotional support. Even when we are having a lot of things to do, we'll be like, okay, can you please sit with me, at least can we do this work? Until, like, for example, I remember when I'm preparing for my college exams, school exams, I'm so scared of exams. So whenever I'm preparing, my mom is not going to teach me anything, but I remember making her sit near me all the time. She sitting near me, the mere presence of her gives me energy to do something, the emotional support. But in this neglectful parenting style, it won't be there. Okay, so the child will always be dependent on the other person. So the child will not have confidence in himself. The other kind is the green seed. Okay, the green seed. So since I've given you green color, so you would expect positive characteristics in the seed. Here it's freedom with boundaries. So here the person will give freedom. The parent will give freedom, but the parent will also teach, see, This is the freedom I'm giving you, and you should know, see, in the long, you can see a boundary. That's your boundary. If you go beyond this boundary, these are all the consequences you will face. Now decide what you want to do. Okay, so even if that child is like, hey, let me go little out and see, oh my god, these are all the consequences which I'm not able to cope up with that. So parent is actually giving freedom and also teaching the child the boundaries. Make them learn their lessons. That's what I told you. Even if you go beyond the boundary, I'll tell you, okay, if you go beyond this, you will have all these consequences. The child is like, see, this consequence is very simple, it's very juju, I can do that. Okay, the parents say, okay, go and try it and come. Maybe the child may succeed in that. Then say, see, mama, see, papa, I'm able to do that. Okay, go ahead. Actually, to try something like that, for trial and error learning, there will be a space in this kind of parenting. Okay, but the one we saw earlier, the rigid style, you cannot do anything like that. Okay, so here, therefore, this parenting style is also called as a democratic parenting style, leaving the child to explore its own life. So make them learn their lessons. I'll tell you, this will be the consequence because I've crossed that stage. I know what will happen. I've seen so many kids outside. But still, if you want to try, do it. Try it and then face the consequences, learn your lessons. Okay? The parent will give that freedom here. So what will be the outcome? The child will be self-confident and lively, self-reliant and independent, social skills and emotional stability. They will have a good social skill because they'll be able to relate with many people. They will have emotional stability because they are learning their own lessons and they are the ones who are actually building their emotional stability. So they know where to behave in what way. Curious and energetic. So these are the kids who are very curious. Why they are curious? They are curious in the outside world because they are given space in the family to be curious. So in certain families, no, when a child asks question, you, why are you asking such a stupid question? You are a dumbo. Don't ask this question. You cannot say that. So if you are going to use this green color C, then you should be like, okay, what is your question? Even if I'm not knowing the answer, let me find and tell you. So even as a teacher, I used to do that. We may not know answer for everything. Just because we stand in that place, we may not know answer for everything. But still, am I giving the space for the child to come and approach me? That is very important. So if the child is coming and asking me, it can be like very simple and very odd question, but still if you say, okay, let me go and read on that, come and explain you, or come, we'll learn it together. So that is the place where the child is actually learning that freedom to ask question. So the curiosity develops. So the same curiosity is actually helping the kid to learn more from the outside world, to explore the outside world. Achievement oriented. So here I can also talk about the motivation, intrinsic and extrinsic motivation. Intrinsic motivation is the motivation that comes from within yourself. Extrinsic motivation is I do this because they'll pay me money. I do this because everyone, they are going to give me applause. Okay, so if something is reinforcing you from the outside, that becomes extrinsic motivation, and something which is actually motivating you from inside, that becomes intrinsic. I write this exam, for example, I'm writing a test. Okay, I'm writing a test, I'm not bothering about the marks. I'm like, okay, I've got to know new concept. That is one intrinsic motivation. If I write the test, okay, I have to get good marks or else my mom will scold me. They will not give me this. They will get all my PlayStations. They will they will not take me out. They will not give me ice cream. If I write my test for those reasons, then that becomes extrinsic motivation to achieve. Okay. So sometimes I'll be writing it for my achievement's sake, but my competition will be within myself. Last time I've got 80. Now I'll be trying to score 90. So the competition is within myself. Even that comes under intrinsic motivation. Okay. So here the kid will be achievement oriented because here the kid will have the holistic development. It has space to approach the parent. It has space to develop the curiosity. It has the space to explore the outside world, and therefore the kid will be achievement oriented. Okay. It makes a good decision, not from the beginning, but from the learnings. Okay, it's very evident that you learning from somebody else's consequences is little weak when compared to you learning from your own consequences. Okay, so when the kid is actually allowed and given freedom to face its own consequences and learn its lesson, it will know what is right, what is wrong, what will cause what. Okay, so therefore they'll be good at making decision. Okay, so this green color seed, this parenting style is called authoritative parenting style. Okay, so authoritarian, these are the 4 styles. Authoritarian is very rude. Okay, neglectful, we saw neglectful is not minding about the child. And then permissive is very lenient, being very lenient with the child, that you provide everything immediately, immediate gratification and all. And this green seed is authoritative. So authoritative, as I told you, it is a democratic parenting style which is actually used among people. So when I did my research, I wanted samples each 30-30 in each parenting style. When I went and collected data, I got only so many samples in authoritative, this green color seed, because the parents, they were not ready to accept, even if they are following permissive. Yeah, in permissive I got few, but neglectful and all, they were not ready to actually accept that. So I got so many authoritative. I'm like, okay, if there is so many authoritative parenting style happening in the world, why do we have a lot of problems? I was really perplexed to know that. Yes, sometimes they may not accept what we are actually doing. There can also be other question. Okay, will I come under only one category? Will I not be in any other category? See, if I'm in using one color seed, am I not going to use the other one? No. Actually, these are some of the nature of the different parenting style. Uh, the person can actually go through everything in a ratio. Okay, a mixture of everything. Sometimes you need to be authoritarian, sometimes you need to be permissive, sometimes you need to be authoritative. So parenting is a mixture of all these things. So that's why it's an art. Parenting is an art, not an act. I hope you all agree with me, because parenting is not very easy. My mom, she used to say, like, if you see, you can be a parent just feeding the kid, changing the clothes, taking it out for a walk. Yes, you can be a parent. Even then, you are a parent if you do that alone. But it's not just that act, it's an art. You need to spend time with the kid, play with the kid. You need to do baby talk with the kid, everything. You need to actually get into their world and do act like them. Okay, it's like regressing back to your childhood days, but still, that's an art. It's difficult to do, but you need to learn those skills, and it's an art to develop. So you will be the either it's a father, mother, or father and mother, or the primary caretaker. Whoever is being with the child in the initial days, they'll be the primary caretaker. The primary caretaker becomes the first teacher. Okay, the first teacher for the child will be the primary caretaker. So up to this, I was talking about handling a normal child, a easy child. Now I'm moving into a the difficult child, like the child is not able to write properly. He is able to manage. He's very good child. He's very easy to handle. He won't cry and all. But I'm having difficulty with him in writing the homework. He is not able to do his homework. What shall we do? You can actually give the kid simple activities like this. These activities actually will develop their motor skills. Okay, this puzzle, and then connecting dots, connecting numbers. When I was a kid and all, we used to have this connecting numbers in Young World. We used to play that. So all these kind of activities, you can indulge them. Okay, instead of giving your smartphones or just teaching them to watch a TV program, you can actually indulge your children in these things. What are all the other steps? Only that, see, I'm not asking you to do a BA degree to be a teaching parent. You can also teach simple things like this. Teaching them pencil grip, how to hold a pencil. You might say, oh, my child's handwriting is terrible. The teacher is always blaming me. What can you do as a parent? You can teach the child the pencil grip. They might be holding the pencil in a wrong position. You can teach them, see, you have to hold the pencil like this. The child may listen to you more than the teacher. Sometimes it happens. So they might learn the pencil grip easily from you. Sitting posture. Is your child, please notice a child, is your child lying down on the floor while they are studying? Even it could be a simple drawing. You're just giving a drawing book for playtime. Even during that time, notice the posture of the child. If the child is lying down on the floor, make him to sit in one table or get him a nice table setting. So you can sit here and do your drawing. Teach him how to sit and do his work. Paper position. Sometimes the students, since it's a virtual mode, I don't know how to show that. They will not keep it in a proper position. They'll turn the paper like this and they'll be lying like this and writing. That's one wrong posture. You can teach them how to place their paper. Then writing the sentences left to right. These are all some of the basics you can teach them. 4-line training. Giving them 4-line notes, asking them to draw or write something. So, sometimes in this alphabets, no, difficult alphabets and not, it will be like literally drawing only. Okay, so you can teach them that. Uppercase and lowercase, the basic difference. What is uppercase? What is lowercase? Punctuation and spacing. Punctuation and all, how will I teach? Okay, you can teach them spacing. Keep one finger gap and write your sentences so that it looks neat. Okay. Letters, start with letters, then go to words, sentences, and paragraph. You can even ask them to write simple paragraphs. If you take them for a tour, you can ask them to describe this place, write a paragraph, something. So this learning should not be a typical learning. So it'll be like, ayo, veetlayum their parents are teaching me, school also they are teaching me, they should not think like that. Okay. So you can actually teach them something along with your day-to-day life so that they enjoy learning. Teacher cannot do that because they will have 101 things at school to do. Okay, so you can spend your time in teaching them. If you are a teacher and if you really love to do all these activities, it's awesome. You can do that. If they have any reading problem, what to do? Stages in reading, because when I thought of difficult child, especially learning issues are the main issues the parents face, because you put them in a tuition center, they don't study, they'll play, because you don't know how to make them learn their lessons. So that's why I'm covering up all these topics. Stages in reading. First, teacher reads and the child listens. Teacher could be the school teacher or the parent. Okay, you read and the child listens, and then teacher reads and the child fills in the known words, easy words. You pause there and your child fills the word. Okay, that is step 2. And the step 3 is child reads and the teacher fills the difficult words. Okay, so initially when you're reading, make sure your child is actually listening to you. Okay, so when the child is not listening and then if the child is not performing well in the second step, you'll be like, no, I'm not going to teach you. I cannot teach you. Please put him in some tuition. Don't say that. Make sure your child is actually concentrating in whatever you're saying. The teacher reads and the child listens. Okay, step 1. Then teacher reads and the child is actually filling the unknown words or easy words. Okay, sorry, known words and the easy words. Then the child is reading, starting to read the paragraph. And when the child is giving a pause, especially with difficult words, the teacher is filling that. Okay, so you can give any creative topic and actually try to sustain their motivation. Their focus should be there. You just reading, and if your child is not listening, nothing is gonna work. Independent reading. So finally, after going through all these steps, the child will be able to read independently. Even if the child is not able to pass step 2, you can again go back to step 1. You can actually do that. Okay. Problem with maths. Even I'm not a very good mathematician. I really don't like numbers. This is for few kids like me. Okay. So you can teach them simple counting, writing numbers, number names, before and after. What comes before 7? What comes after 9? You can teach them that. Greater or lesser. Computations, simple addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, if possible. If they are not able to do multiplication, division, okay, let them take some time. They will learn it definitely, but not now. Okay, don't force them to learn that. So counting is, you can actually ask them to count how many spoons in the dining table. Okay, how many friends do this person have? If the child is watching a TV program or something, how many person are there in the TV? Or you can ask something like that, which is natural. So the child should not know that you are trying to teach something, because teaching, if the child gets to know, it will not focus. Next one is with regard to difficult child, the problematic child with regard to behavior. Okay, so to say that it's a problematic behavior, you need to cross check all these concepts. Only then it is a problematic behavior. Just because the child is enthusiastic and energetic, you cannot label the kid as a problematic kid. Okay, so these are some of the things you should keep in mind before defining that particular behavior as a problematic behavior. First one, is it age appropriate? Okay, is it the age appropriate behavior? Okay, everybody in this age, they do that, then fine, let him do. Okay, environment of the behavior. Okay, is the child doing that behavior only with that person or only with that uncle's house or something like that? Then it is, there is some issue. Okay, environment of the behavior. If the child is doing wherever it goes, then there is a small way you can change the behavior. It's not a very big issue. Okay, frequency of the behavior. So frequency, how frequent they indulge in that behavior, that also matters. So is it self-stimulating? Is it self-stimulated, repetitive, destructive for the child and also for the other person near the child, injurious and all? It's truly problematic. Non-compliance, okay, not complying with your home setting. Okay, so these are some of the descriptions you should keep in mind before defining a behavior as a problematic behavior. Not all behaviors are problematic. If it is age appropriate, we could say it's a small naughty behavior. Okay, but speaking bad words and speaking a filthy language or having like what, not respecting parents, not respecting elders, it's not a good behavior actually. Because I'll tell you why. If you enjoy that, see how like an adult this fellow is talking, you'll enjoy. So the child will think, oh, this is a nice behavior, everyone are clapping for that. But when the child grows into an adolescent and or the adult, the child will do the same. Apo the mother will be like, oh my god, I feel so shameful because my kid is alone talking like this, others are very nice. Because you didn't know it's a problematic behavior, you enjoyed it because, oh, this kid is talking like an adult. But then when they become an adult, we feel really bad. Okay, so these are some of the descriptions. How to manage these behaviors? Identify the behavior. So this is very important. You cannot simply say this is one problematic child. What is the problem? Which problematic behavior is bothering you so much? Which problematic behavior is being raised as a complaint from other people, especially in the school? So identify one behavior at a time. Work with one behavior at a time. Okay. Work out a strategy. So on the particular behavior, you can actually develop one strategy. I'll teach you 3 strategies. Maybe you can read about many strategies. Keep a record of the progress. This is very important. Even if I know sir would actually keep the feedback of this session. Whatever session we'll do, we have a feedback because we need to know, okay, this webinar, we had all these limitations. We had all these mistakes. The next webinar, we should not repeat the same. The same way, you should actually keep a record of the progress, the child's behavior. If you're trying to use any strategy, then only you will know, is this strategy working with your child? Because not all strategies will work with everyone. Okay, so when you try out something, it's also a trial and error business. You need to try out something and you should actually find out which strategy, which particular strategy is working with your child. Okay, these are the 3 strategies I would like to introduce you to. The first one is token economy. Okay, token economy is, if you eat vegetable today, I'll give you a star. Okay, so the child's unhealthy behavior is your target behavior. If you eat greens today, I'll give you a star. So the token economy, the board should not be in a position where the child itself can go and put a star. Okay, you should make sure that the child is not able to reach the board. Okay, so when you talk about token economy, there is also something called response cost. Response cost is, the child is eating greens today, so I'm giving star. But the child is actually what? Doing any other naughty behavior, and I'm telling the child, see, you should not use your mobile phone after this time. But the kid is actually, I want to watch this cartoon, the kid is using. Then I can say, for this behavior, the response cost will be, I will take off 2 stars from your token economy board. This behavior of yours, this response will have a cost. So response cost and token economy can be given as a single program or else in a separate way also. If you don't want to actually talk about any separate responses other than eating vegetables, you can just talk about token economy. Or this token economy is working well and the child is so much excited about getting stars, then you can actually include response cost also. The next one is timeout. Timeout is if a child is behaving a naughty way, disturbing the other kids, disturbing other playmates, you can actually pick your child and put it in an empty room. Or you can say turn towards the wall and sit. You cannot look at what they are doing. You will not be getting any visual reinforcement. And I'd make sure that the room is safe. The room should not be having any dark ambience. The room should not be like suffocating, or the room should not trigger any other new negative behavior in the child. That is very important. So timeout is something which you need to be very conscious about. Okay. So for after 10 minutes, you will again put the child in the place. The child will play. Suddenly, if any naughty behavior, the same naughty behavior comes out, again you'll put it in the timeout. For 10 minutes, you will be sitting in this place. So this will actually teach the child something positive. Okay, the next one is behavioral contract. Behavioral contract actually works well, but you should have a proper negotiator between you and the parent and the kid, because the parent will have their own demand. Like the kid has to do this, the kid has to do that. Maybe 2 demands will take. And the child will also come up with 2 demands. If I'm not doing this, my parents should do this. So they will come up with 2 demands. So the negotiator will actually sit in the middle and discuss, okay, are these demand okay for you? Are these demand okay for you? If it is okay, they will sign a contract. Okay, in that contract, you'll also talk about the punishment. If you're not doing this, what is the punishment? At the same time, if the parents are not following this, what will be their punishment? Punishment in the sense they're not going to beat you and all. If the parents are not following this, they'll get me an ice cream. Something they'll say according to their own cognitive ability. The negotiator will put it down and they'll be watching it between the parent and the child. This is one strategy you can use. So these are the 3 strategies I'm able to cover today. Okay. Some more extra tips I would like to give. Remaining calm. Ignore the behavior. Sometimes you are yelling at them immediately. Don't do that. This is so irritating. If you yell at them, they'll be very happy. Again and again, they'll be doing that. Okay, so it's better to stay calm so that you'll think what you can react later. Ignore the behavior. Sometimes the problematic behavior will be severe. But if you just ignore the behavior, the problem will subsidize. It will go off. Okay, so ignoring the behavior is one simple tip. Teach them new behavior. Instead of telling the kid, don't lie on the floor, don't lie on the floor and eat. You can tell them, sit on the floor and eat. Positive commands. So it is actually teaching a new behavior using positive commands. Reward or reinforce them. So every time you can give them rewards and reinforcement. So reward should not make them dependent. Every time you do the behavior, you'll get an ice cream. No, that is not going to be a healthy reward. Even giving a high five is a reward. Even appreciating them, verbal appreciation is also a reward. Okay, so sometimes ice cream may not be a chronic reward. Certain children, they'll be like, okay, next time if I do this 3 times, you can get me one ice cream. So that way you can actually decrease the frequency of reinforcement. But certain kids, they become dependent. Every time I do this, get me an ice cream. So they'll be like that. Okay, so you should be very careful in giving your reinforcement. Involve everyone in their environment. This is very, very important because at home, if I'm teaching my child, see, if you are eating vegetables, I'll give you a star. And at school also, the teacher should be aware of this behavior management technique. Only then the teacher will be appreciating, teacher will be giving a reward for maybe the same star for that habit. Or else the child will go and keep all the veggies in the other student's plate, and the other student will enjoy the veggies and the kid will eat noodles or something and come back. Okay, so when you are trying to teach anything, it should involve the entire environment of the child. It should be the same in your home, it should be the same in their school, at least to some extent, because certain schools we cannot go and speak. And it should be the same with their grandparents and others who are actually pampering the kid. Be regular and consistent. This is one very, very significant point here. because you need to be regular. For example, morning, if the child is actually coming and irritating you in a very little intensity, you'll be like yelling at the child, scolding the child, go, don't do this. Sometimes you'll even beat them. But in the evening, you're very relaxed, and the child is doing the same thing. You'll be like, don't do, please don't do. See, you're not actually consistent. Okay, so you should be very careful. You should not go to any extreme. That's why I told you the first place, you should be very calm. Only then you will know how to react. So every time you do this, even I'm in a very irritated phase, or if I'm in a very cool and nice phase, whenever you do that behavior, this will be your consequence. You should be very consistent and you should be very regular. Only then the child will be able to understand the connection between the behavior and your response, or else they will get confused. So this might even cause them to think, see, my parents are not loving me. Whenever I do this, they yell at me. See, sometimes they are not yelling at me, but whenever my uncle is there and all, they are yelling at me. They don't like me. They will actually take it in a mistaken way. Record the progress. Okay, if they are actually improving, you can actually keep a record of it, so that you will know if they are again going back to the first phase, you need to start it all over again. It's okay to start all over again than to lose a kid. Okay, yeah. And this is very important. Every kid is very special. So even it is a naughty child or a normal, very easy to handle child, they are actually having lot of areas of intelligence. They can have intrapersonal, linguistic, logic smart, naturalist, picture smart, body smart. Depending on that, you can actually nurture them. If they are not good at dancing and you say you have to dance, you need to practice dance, because everybody at a home they do Bharatanatyam, you need to dance that. No, the kid will be good at some other things. So these are all some of the other ways you can look at. Okay, somebody they'll be good at gardening, so they'll know what to do more than the parent. So they'll be good at gardening, they'll be good at music. Without even going for a music class, if you get them a flute or get them a keyboard or a piano, they will learn their own music. So there are certain kids who are exceptionally smart in certain areas, but they might be very bad at the other area. So that doesn't mean that you have to put them down for that area. Okay, you can actually encourage and support them, because every kid is intelligent. Every child is intelligent. It always depends on the parent who nurture the child along with the environmental factors. Yeah, I think I finished my 1 hour. If you have any doubts or discussions, we can have.
A really lovely session. Preeti. And what I can say that no words. I had a different session or webinar session.
Okay.
This one is on the way in which you taken up that art of parenting and making it to everyone understand the concept is amazing. Now, dear participant, if you have any questions to the resource person, you can unmute yourself. You can directly ask the question, or else we can put your questions in the chat box. It will be answered. Yes.
Jane, ma'am.
Good evening, sir.
Yeah, madam, what is the meaning of parent?
Sir?
What is the meaning of parent?
Parent is the one who's, I would say, the one who's actually nurturing. That's why I never use the word the mother, father. I would actually say the primary caretaker, the one who is actually taking care of the child. It could be both biological or a adopted relationship between them.
Only one answer is patience. That is parent.
Yeah.
No, you are told reading together, writing together, do the maths together and behave everything. If the parent have the patience, it will be happen. Otherwise, it will never happen.
That's true.
They will
That's true.
express their frustration, etc. And I will give a new abbreviation for parent.
Okay.
P for positive thinking, A for assertiveness, R for relaxation, E for exercise, N for nutrition, and T for touch. That is parent.
Wow, that's really amazing, sir. Thank you
That
for
is
the
when the parent feel I am conceived, then they start thinking about positive thoughts. Otherwise, it will be converted as a rejected child.
Yeah.
And the parent treat as a friendly approach. Then parent can become assertive. They can say no when they required, and they can do play together it will be create the relaxation.
Hmm.
And they do together exercise. And in nutrition, till 2.5 years, breast milk is the best nutritious food, and touch is the best medicine available in the world. This is the explanation. Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thanks.
And I added one in chat box. Parent is a full-time job, no formal training or no education required, no vacation or break, and no preparation. That also
Thank you.
parent.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
Any other questions and compliments are welcome.
Ma'am, I have a question.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
It happened. It's a real life story. In United States, a criminal was caught. A person who's involved in all sorts of illegal activities, criminal activities. So the police caught him. They asked him, why are you doing like this? So he told that my parents said, when I was a child, I had abusive parents. They used to be quarreling frequently. My mother had some adulteration behavior. My father had extramarital affairs. So all these things made me like this. So the police asked him, do you have any siblings? He told, yes, I have a brother. So they went and met the brother. Brother was one of the governor of a state in the United States. They asked him, how did you become where did you also were brought up by the same parents in the same environment along with your brother? He told yes. But how did you reach this position? He told, from my parents, I learned how I should not be. So from this, I learned, I realized these are the things I should not do. These are the things I inculcated the good qualities in my own. So in that case, this yellow parenting, the seeds, the different seeds, yellow parenting, red parenting, nothing was there. It's a totally dangerous type of parenting. But how did this? How it is slightly varying from what you said. Yours is yes. Depending on the way the parent, what they show, what they sow, they reap the benefit later on. But in this case, what they sold is it's a very abnormal behavior, but the result was totally different. One is a governor and another is a kind of a criminal.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir, for that.
And I came to know it's an actual story. I don't know the book from where this the book it was written also. And to my understanding, it's an actual true story.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I can actually explain this from the way the child is perceiving their parent. So sometimes, as I told you, the parent are not conveying what they are actually doing for the child. The child may take it in a negative way. So there comes the concept of perception, how they perceive the behavior of the parent. Here it's totally a broken family. So the child is getting all the negative influence. So this negative influence, in psychology, we have something called defense mechanism. So the child is actually not able to react to the parent. Maybe it could be the reason, and displacing all those emotions, negative emotions in the society. So that could be one reason. Observational learning, learn how to be negative from the parent and doing the same. And the other kid is actually perceiving the parent, more than a parent, the one at home. From the kid, they are the positive thing. They are actually, if they are not able to see any positive thing, but the child is like, okay, I'm not going to be like them. So the decision is with the child. So if the child is not able to cope up with that, so sometimes there is also called as sublimation defense mechanism. Sublimation defense mechanism is you actually have all the negative traits, but then you sublimate it and react it out in a positive way. So if that could be a sexual pervert. Sexual pervert will sublimate all his feelings, and he might go for campaigns like don't rape and all. They used to do those campaigns. I don't know. I thought I can give that theoretical explanation, but still, since it's a real case, I really don't know what was the dynamics happening in that family, sir.
Maybe one child was smart, looked more attractive, is liked by the society. The other one might be right from the childhood, might be a disliked child. Though both are siblings, might be that the self-esteem of one child was higher in that environment.
Even one positive influence in life could change the story. So may not be parent or anybody else, as I told you, grandparents or somebody in the family or even friends or colleagues, somebody would have changed the story of the person, or or a teacher in school, or somebody like that could be there.
This is a very good. But this was like no, it was bothering me for quite some time. How this can happen? So I got it. Like no, one incident can change the life of the.
Yeah,
There
definitely.
would have been a turning point in that governor. The child who became a governor might
Yeah.
be someone has influenced him, the teacher or some friend or something he has watched in the TV. Could
Yeah.
have been a turning point.
So we can also say that when they have an abusive family, like the father abusing the mother, mother is not able to cope up and all, those kids, they'll be shining very well. They'll do very well in their exams. They will crack competitive exams. So it's a kind of sublimation. Sublimating the negative energies and then showing it out in a positive way. Really.
So it's a wonderful session. I'm like, no, you went step by step and no, in a leisurely, well paced, at the same time with an apt amount of material. Really too good. So, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, ma'am.
Thank you very much for a very wonderful session. I have a simple doubt. Me being a parent,
Okay.
it is our duty to just inculcate values in the children right from the very early childhood age and all that. And I think so in teaching them values or rather guiding them and showing them by our very own lifestyle, it plays a very greater role. And it never stops us showing them the guidance or teaching them the values. Then where to draw the line being an authoritative parent, ma'am? Where is the line? Where is the stopping gap? Wherein they learn to take the initiative to do it on their own without our guidance. How do we stop us from crossing that line, from being a very typical parent to an authoritarian parent? Where is the line?
I would say it depends on the space you give them to clarify their doubts and ask questions, to clarify their curiosity aspects and all. Because sometimes, based on values, we say you should not do that. The child will say, "Why?" Parent will say, "You should not do that. Don't ask that. You're not an adult." But when you try explaining that, see, this is because of this. This is the underlying reason for me to say this. Then the kid will start thinking. So that is where we talk about authoritative. You also teach them and give them the boundary. So you also say if you go beyond the boundary, you will experience a consequence. And then you learn by yourself. So it becomes a stronger learning than you teaching them. Okay, okay.
I think we are running out of time, and my battery is also going to end. So we will have any questions in the very next today. I would like to say that every feedback about your session, a power-packed session, which I can say that for the audience who is coming for this webinar, they are having whatever they need. I think you fulfill. I your presentations. I can correlate that other sessions and how you made it today. Amazing, amazing. That is the one word I can say. I recommend sincere gratitude on behalf of the Department of Psychology, American College, and the associating institutions like Madras School of Social Work, M. Chalamuthi Institute, Madurai, and Yellow Pond Counseling Center, Psycho-Oncological Association, Turkey, and the core members and all the participants over here. Thank you so much for the wonderful session today. And we will meet again for tomorrow's session. And I would like to say that we are going to have only 12 more sessions. Thank you for your support. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone.